What is up, beautiful people? It's your host, Belle. I just wanted to hop on for this week's episode. It's not going to be a long one, okay? And this has been on my mind. This whole how to get out of your own way. I feel like so many of us are truly standing in our own way right now, and I just want to talk about it. This is going to be a candid conversation, and it's going to be just super real. So let's just jump in, because I don't really have much else to say. I am drinking, guess what it is? Just guess, because I can already tell you. It's an almond milk latte, decaf, as it's been for a very long time. And I did put a pump of coconut in it. I've been obsessed with the coconut lattes. It's been my thing. It's been an obsession. I don't know what my problem is, but I love it, okay? We have a lot of cool guests coming up on the next couple episodes of the podcast. And I don't know, I wanted to get this off my chest before we really dove into these amazing episodes with guests coming up in the next few weeks. And yeah, it's how to get out of your own way. Okay. I think that I'm going to talk about myself for a second. Okay. And this is not meant to be in any sort of like braggy way. This is just like, I'm giving you my credentials right now. When I was younger, I was told I couldn't do a lot of things. They were like, oh, because you're young and all this stuff. Like, there were a lot of people who said what I wanted in life wasn't possible. And that's just honestly the truth. Like, it really is. But I was able to finesse my way. I graduated high school at 15, and I had my associate's degree when I graduated. I left for college when I was 17. Yeah. 17, no, 16. I don't know, somewhere in there. And I moved out and moved to Missouri with my best friend and got a degree in biblical studies. Finished that when I was 18, okay? Got married at the age of 19, started my full-time career at Project Rescue, where I'm the communication specialist, all of this. And now here I am at the age of 20, like chasing a lot of dreams, doing a lot of things. I'm about to finish a master's degree. And I was thinking about this because my birthday is actually coming up. So those of you who don't know, my birthday, this drops, will be like in a week or two. And I was just reflecting. I actually use my birthday more for reflection than like New Year's Day. And I look back at the last year and kind of really think of like, what do I want like big picture wise in the year to come? And I love doing this on my birthday. I love just thinking, what did this year look like for me? And what did the year 20 look like for me? Okay. And the year 20, I mean, I traveled the world for the first time, moved, my husband and I like really just connected more and worked on our marriage. And it was a really beautiful time. I started mentorship / therapy, like all this stuff. And it was just this whole process. I finally found like a really good community of friends here in Texas and people that I just love to spend time with. And 20 was just a really good year. And I realized that if I had listened to my own doubts or people who had doubted me in the past, I don't think that this would have been possible. I don't think this would have happened. I've actually been invited to speak at a couple of events coming up this year. And I was reflecting on this time where, someone literally said, oh, I kid you not, this was a conversation I had. It was a friend's parent, and he said to me, Belle, because you love to talk, God is going to silence you for a very long time. And I remember that. And I put a sense of fear in me. I also have a very innate fear of anytime things in life start to go really well for me. I don't necessarily get to enjoy it because I get so scared of it being taken away. And I'm just being so vulnerable with you guys right now. Like, this is truly something I struggle with, is anytime I feel like, wow, life is looking really good. I get scared to enjoy it because I feel like at any moment it could all be taken away, and that God is going to, I don't know, change his mind about the blessings. And this is just something I've really dealt with a lot of my life, is having people like this parent tell me that I was going into a season of being silenced, having my own doubts about things being too good in life, or maybe not seeing something that was coming my way. And it's been a vicious cycle for me, and it's been high highs and low lows. And, and that's not necessarily my personal, I don't know, personality, I'm going to say, actually. So, I'm definitely not saying that I have anything like bipolar or anything, but I'm saying like circumstances around me that always seem like the highs are really high and the lows are really low. And I struggled with this for a really long time. I struggled with other people doubting me. I struggled with my own doubts. And I just wanted to talk to you guys about how to get out of our own way. How do we keep moving when other people are telling us it's impossible, or maybe our own minds are telling us it's impossible. And what I just want to point out is, first of all, just because you have a thought doesn't make it true. You know, our minds are such interesting landscapes. They really are. And, you know, this is so bad, but I was watching Harry Potter lately. Been going through the movies slowly. They're just like so chill. And I don't want to say comfort movies, but kind of, you know, I know what's going to happen. It doesn't stress me out. And sometimes I just need a little bit of comfort in the background. And I was watching Harry Potter, and Dumbledore has that famous line where he's like, you know, Harry says, well, is this all in my head or is this real? And Dumbledore says, it's in your head, but that doesn't mean it's not real. And I just think that's an interesting concept, because what's in our minds is often so real to us. That perspective is so intense to us. And I think that when God tells us in the Bible that we need to capture our thoughts, this is really what he's referring to, is because our thoughts, that's where we live. We live in our minds, right? Like our soul, our mind, will, emotions. It's this continual thing that you really can't escape. It's who you are. And so you have to learn how to navigate your own thoughts, and then also navigate your thoughts to deal with other people's words and actions against you. And it's just this whole process, okay? And I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and just how to navigate this. And so I just wrote down a couple of things that I want to share with you guys. It's like, I want to remind you that we are capable human beings who can do really, really hard things. Your limitations are not necessarily real, okay? I remember when I was really big into fitness. I was in my volleyball era. I was, you know, trying to get scholarships to go play in college, and I was working out like obscenely amount. I was jacked, okay? I'm not even gonna lie, guys. Like, I was jacked. And I remember my coach looking at me and saying, your mind gives up way before your body does. Your mind will tell you, oh, you can't do this anymore, before your body actually reaches that point where it can't do it. And that just is one of those things where someone said something and it stuck with me for a really long time. And so whenever I face an obstacle, I always like to just take a step back and look at it and think, now, is this my mind telling me I can't move forward? Or is this something that truly means that I need to pivot my direction? You know, is this weight really too heavy to carry? Or is my mind just telling me that I can't carry this burden with me anymore? And I think once we recognize that our minds truly can lie to us, they truly aren't like these controllable things all the time, where we have say over what we think. Naturally, okay, I want to point that out, is naturally our response is to just let our minds think and work and do this stuff, but we have to consciously choose to say, am I letting my mind control me right now? And that's just such a weird concept. I get that, because it's like, okay, but your mind controls like your body's movement, and like, I mean, I get that, but like, are you letting natural thoughts and instincts control your choices, or are you choosing to take that control back? I hope this is making sense. It makes so much sense in my mind, but if I'm just rambling, honestly, skip this episode, because I don't know, guys. This is just, I just feel like we need to talk about it. When we find those limits that our mind says we can't keep going, we have to push past them. Okay, I want you to think of like a circle around you, okay? And you can live inside your circle. You can live in your little bubble and you'll be fine. And you know what? Life honestly could be cool, could be great. It'll be simple, it'll be grand, whatever. Not grand, but it'll be it. It'll be life. But I think that there is so much past those limitations, so much past that circle that we put around ourselves that we can push against. So when I find a limitation that my mind has told me, hey, you can't do anything more, you can't push past this, I physically picture in my mind, I'm standing in a circle and I take my arms and I press against that circle and I push it out and I expand my circle and I say, okay, I just moved my circle a little bit back. How many limits do I have now? What is that limitation holding me back? Is it still there? Am I still limited? And sometimes there's outside sources limiting you. But, you know, well, I wasn't going to tell you guys, but like, honestly, I can't keep a secret. I had this really, I've had a dream to write a book for a really long time, right? And I've always felt that God has placed this dream in my heart. And it's just something that I've really thought about and stuff like that. And I thought, my mind was telling me, you can't do this because you have so much on your plate right now. You're working too many jobs. You have too many things going on with social media, your podcasts. Like, you're not going to be able to give everything. And I had to think about it. I was like, oh, got a lot going on. I really shouldn't write a book right now. I really shouldn't. And I sat there and I was like, wait, I think this is a limitation that I'm actually putting on myself here. So what I did is I closed my eyes. I envisioned myself pushing this circle out. And I said, okay, now can I fit a book in here? Can I push past these limitations I've set on myself? And the truth was, yes. I literally reached out to a professor and told him, I said, listen, I want to write a book instead of doing your final project. And instead of doing most of your class, I want to write this book and I want it to count. And we had a meeting and he goes, do it. Let's do this thing. So instead of, doing a master's class that I was supposed to and write about this specific topic, I'm writing a book and I fit it in so it serves me. And I saw this limitation and I figured out a way to create it into an opportunity. And taking limitations and creating opportunities is truly a cultivated skill that I think a lot of us work on throughout our entire lives. But when you see this in your life, when you recognize that you are taking limitations and turning them into opportunities, I think that it comes a little bit more naturally, and I think you're able to do it a little bit better each time. Okay? And then something that goes along with this is the discomfort that comes with that. Okay? There is discomfort when we push that circle out. But living in that discomfort, I think, really grows a spirit of endurance, and that discomfort is where growth happens for you as an individual, okay? Because again, picture that circle around you. Like, this is my favorite analogy, apparently. When you're in that, it's comfortable. You're not pressed against the sides. You're not trying to expand anything. You're not taking new ground. You're comfortable. And honestly, guys, if that's the way you want to be, that's fine. But that's not the way I want to live. I want to live my life to the absolute fullest. I want to take every single day and think, wow, can I make my life a little bit better today? I won't recognize myself in a year because I've taken every single day and applied it to my dreams. And when you decide that you want to push past your limitations, when you want to create opportunities for yourself, that is the sweet spot, but it's uncomfortable. This isn't a place of comfort. In fact, it's probably a little chaotic because you don't always know what you're doing. But when you keep pushing against that boundary that you've set for yourself, or maybe someone else has set for you, when you keep pushing, the next thing you know, you're going to turn around and be like, oh my gosh, my circle's freaking huge. What the heck? I didn't know I had this much ground behind me. I didn't know I expanded everything I stood for, everything I am, in such a massive capacity. And you have that ability to push past those things and be uncomfortable. This past month, I have decided that comfortability isn't an enemy, but I'm mistaking peace with comfortability, okay? Let me explain what I mean. Peace comes from God, okay? Jesus, the Prince of Peace, the God of peace. So many times I love doing a study of peace when it comes to Jesus. And what I was doing is I was mistaking comfort for peace. Because Jesus had peace on the cross, and I can guarantee it, the cross was not comfortable, but there was peace. So I was sitting in my life, not pushing against any limitations, and I was comfortable. I would do my 9-to-5 job every day and maybe post a video, watch a Netflix show, cook some food. It was comfortable, okay? And then I realized I wasn't growing. I wasn't chasing any God-given dream. So what did I do? I decided to start pushing back a little bit and letting go of this comfort, because I was thinking, oh, this is right because I'm not feeling tension in my life. But tension isn't bad. Tension can be good. So when I let go of comfort and started seeking God for peace instead of a chill day at home, I actually started to strengthen my relationship with God because I was seeking Him. And what I was really doing was finding a peace that wasn't earthly. And then I was also pushing past these limitations and growing. I started growing my social media, and it's been going really well. I started a podcast. I decided to finish my master's. I took on some extra jobs so we could buy a house. And I started cultivating routines and habits that helped me actually grow and not just stay in my comfort zone. And that kind of goes into my next point, is that you have to create time to chase your dreams, okay? We're talking about how to get out of your own way. I think one of the number one things that people say is, oh, I don't have time to do any of this stuff. I don't have time. And you got to start tracking, okay? Because I got an inkling here that you have more time than you think you do, okay? Even if you're working 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 8 to 6, okay? You have these time frames before, after, during lunch, all these things that you can really be chasing your God-given dream. And you don't have to limit yourself, because guess what? You've also got weekends. So I'm going to really argue here that I don't think a single person listening here does not have time to do what God has called them to do and take care of their responsibilities. Because guess what? I'm not saying your God-given dream, you have to quit your job and be uncomfortable and live in a shed and keep pushing past boundaries. That's not what I'm saying. Because you do have responsibility that you are called to. You do have to go and you have to make some money and you have to provide food for either you or your family or whatever that looks like. But guess what? You also have a responsibility to God to give him your best and to chase your dreams. So when you give him your best, that means that you are waking up in the morning. You are waking up earlier than you want to. You're going to live in that discomfort. You're going to live in that moment of, oh, it'd be so much more easy or so much more comfortable, so much easier to go back to bed right now. But you're going to push past that discomfort. You're going to wake up and you're going to spend time with God. You're going to go move your body and actually start to better your life. And then you're going to sit down and chase those dreams. You want to start a business? There are steps that you can take right now. Do you want to, start taking social media more seriously? There are steps you can take. Do you want a new job? Steps you can take. Do you want to maybe finish school? Guess what? Steps you can take in the morning and give God your best. Give him that time when you can chase those God-given dreams. And then in the evening, heck, you're going home. You got time. I recently realized this whole, I have to unwind from a long day and watch Netflix for 3 hours before I go to bed. Oh my gosh, do you realize Netflix is like a newer thing in our world? Like 50 years ago, this wasn't an option. You didn't get to unwind from a long day and watch Netflix for hours and binge it. 100 years ago, heck, they didn't even have a TV. Well, actually, I think they might have in the 1920s. Let's go 150 years, because I know for a fact they did not have TVs 150 years ago. Instead, they were educating themselves by reading. If you just switch out the time that you are watching TV, okay, limit yourself. Set your time to watch TV to 2 nights a week. And the amount of time that you have will blow your mind, okay? Set it so that way you can't scroll until for 15 minutes a day. Put your time limits on. 15 minutes a day. And that's all you get to scroll, because you're watching everyone else live their lives and you yourself are not taking steps to actually live your life. That's so crazy. That's crazy. You've got to take time to chase your dreams. You have to cultivate time, because time keeps going. What you do with it is what matters. And if what you do with it is watch other people live their lives, whether that's TV, social media, or whatever, and you're not bettering your life, you can't look at anyone else and say, oh, I wish I had that. I don't understand why they're so lucky. I don't understand why they're going so far in life, because you are choosing this. So you want to get out of your own way. You want to start something. You want to be a part of something. You want to do something. Oh my goodness, take that time and do it. Do it. You can create your own time. You really can. Start with your mornings and move into your evenings. And we haven't even touched the freaking weekend, okay? You don't need 2 days full of lounging. I'm sorry, you don't. You need a Sunday afternoon to lounge. That's my personal opinion. You can go to church, and when you get home from church, you do your little grocery shop, you go out for brunch, whatever, change into cozy clothes, and spend the afternoon reading. Maybe that's your day. You watch a movie, order some takeout, give yourself freedom. But guess what? You have all day Saturday to do some damage for the kingdom. You can do some hardcore limiting wall pushing on Saturday. Push against those boundaries. Don't let those boundaries wrap around you and tell you that you can't do something, especially if it's a God-given dream. So anyways, I feel like I just went on the longest rant, and I'm so sorry. But it's just, this has been so on my heart. This has been so deeply rooted in me, this idea of feeling limited by other people and myself and by my own thoughts of thinking that when things go well, they're going to get taken away. But really, we don't have to live in that. We have so much more freedom. We have so much more ability to break free from that and just keep pushing against those boundaries that are around you. And what you're going to create is a life that is your best life. You're going to live this amazing, incredible, God-given life. And guess what? You get to glorify Jesus through that entire process. Because when God places a dream on our heart, He's not the one stopping us from going and getting it. We stop ourselves. So if you don't know what that dream is, if you're like, yeah, that sounds great to someone who knows they want to start a business or start a podcast or whatever, really look at what you love to do and how you can serve others through that, okay? So let me give you an example for myself. When I was little, the game I'd play with my grandma is I would dress up in front of a vanity, and then I'd go to a party, in quotes, really just walk around the kitchen, and then I'd come back and describe the whole party to my grandma. Okay, if that's not what I do now, I don't know what is. Okay, that's like a childhood version of me literally being a content creator and a podcast host. When she reminded of me that a few weeks ago, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my gosh, they say to look at what you did as a child to find what your passion is now. So, what do you love? What do you love? What do you love to do? And then how can you serve others? That's the really big question. It's not about you. If you're chasing a dream to gain fame, gain money, whatever, you're gonna burn out faster because those goals are harder. And even more than that, they're not giving to others. And when you give to others, that's what really makes a goal just continue to go, continue to move forward, and really have that ordainment from Jesus, okay? That where Jesus puts his stamp of approval and says, this is what you work on this earth to do. So what are you on this earth to do? And stop those limiting beliefs, okay? Because you can do hard things. You are a capable human being who has so much strength, so much power, so much beauty. And guess what? You also have so much knowledge. You are smart. You are capable. And you have a very specific thing that you can offer and serve others in. Use it. Get out of your own way and use it and glorify God through the process. So yeah, anyways, I hope you don't feel like I've been yelling at you, because I kind of feel like I've been yelling. My throat's a little dry. But I hope this is honestly a motivator for you. I hope that this gives you a little kick in the patootie over here, so that way you can just stand up and be like, heck, I got time, okay? And I want to say, if you're listening to this podcast, you're already taking steps to make your life better. You are already going, wow, I want to live my best life and I want to glorify God, okay? Those are the two things we're here to do, live our best lives and glorify God. So if you're listening to this, you're taking steps. And you know what? Freaking go you. Look at you. You are taking time in your day right now to listen to a podcast about how to better your life. I'm in awe of you. I'm in awe of you, and I'm so stinking proud of you. And I just want to pat you on the freaking back and say, go you. Go you. Look at you doing the hard things. Keep going. Get out of your own way, okay? Keep going. You are not limited by your own beliefs or by the beliefs of others. Okay? Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say, because I told you, it's gonna be a short one. We're just here for a little motivation. And yeah, I love you guys like crazy. I seriously, so proud of you. And I'm really, really excited to see all the things that you're gonna do for the kingdom.